If you haven't seen the previous video in this series, follow the link on your screen or click the link in the description or pinned comment below.
That's my secret, Cat. I'm always angry.
Opening credits of scientific wonderment.
I told you guys it's the fact that there are opening credits and not the length of those credits, but I think the worst part here is Jeremy being a morning person. Ugh, morning people.
After the last movie, Bruce got Ed Norton plastic surgery, but still feels the need to hide in a South American jungle.
Jeremy thinks this movie is connected to the Eric Bana Hulk movie. That's not even the sin. The sin is reminding me of the Eric Bana Hulk movie.
Oh, Jennifer Connelly looks like Liv Tyler now? Sam Elliott unconvincingly changes into William Hurt? The plastic surgery epidemic in Hollywood has officially gone off the rails.
All right, the gag was already thin on the previous sin, so now I'm sinning the joke.
Movie presses delete on the last Hulk by rehashing new origin story in the opening credits. We made a mistake hiring an arty director like Ang Lee last time. Now let's get the guy who did Transporter 1 and 2.
You say that like it's a bad thing. You know what the world needs right now? A new Transporter movie with the guys who did the choreography for The Raid.
Usually we tell you that a newspaper article doesn't match the headline. But here, I'd like to point out that some local resident claims he saw a green Sasquatch. And investigators seem to think he's telling the truth.
So we're sinning newspapers that actually match the headline, eh? And considering what we know about Bruce, it makes sense the investigators believe this resident. The Hulk f***ing shit up is precisely why he's hiding out in Latin America.
Is Ed Norton living in the same house he did in Fight Club?
Jeremy makes a pop culture
Okay.
Science guy Bruce Banner decides not to check anywhere else, figuring, that was probably all of it. Real smooth, Bruce.
First of all, science guy? You mean scientist? And second, when he checked for the blood, he did check the other bottles. You cut to the one bottle he didn't see and pretended like he didn't check at all.
Martina.
The power of boners will make you decide a hot girl is worth potentially blowing your Hulk secret for.
Men have done stupider things for less attractive chicks. Also, Jeremy says boner.
Não me deixa conforme.
You know what, that's pretty funny. And it might make sense if we were in America and a foreigner got hungry and angry confused. But in Portuguese, hungry and angry are like way different words, man.
It's almost like he doesn't speak the language fluently and doesn't know the word for angry, or else he would have used it. You're sinning him for making a mistake in a language he's not fluent in. That's very American. But let's not pretend being hungry and angry aren't the same thing anyway.
Also, how did this relationship ever form? Is there some kind of dark web on the internet for renegade gamma scientists? Do you post a Craigslist ad asking for help with your gamma radiation project and just hope the one other dude alive that can help you seize it?
As JX used to tell you, that's not a sin. That's a question. Jeremy must learn the difference between questions and sins. Simply raising a question does not make something sinful, as questions have answers which would then nullify the sin. Not everything you ask needs an answer, by the way, and the dumbass people that think just because you ask something it deserves a response need to learn this lesson too. Movies only answer questions that are important for the story currently happening. How these two met is irrelevant, so the movie only focuses on the relationship they already have. You may as well ask how Bruce's parents met. It's just as relevant.
Stan Lee! Oh wait, that pulls me out of the movie!
So is this the explanation for the weird Stan Lee exists sins you'd been doing for years? That it pulls you out of the movie? What amounts to a 10-second cameo pulls you out of a movie?
Also, if this is Stan Lee in the rebooted Hulk movie, which erases the last Hulk movie, then who was that Stan Lee in the previous Hulk movie? How can both Stan Lees coexist?
I do enjoy the irony of Jeremy stating this movie erases the previous Hulk movie and at the same time asking how did the two Stan Lees coexist?
This fort is named after my penis, but without my permission.
Jeremy says boner.
Also, Bruce hits 5 keys on the keyboard and nothing is on screen. And then he hits 5 more keys for a total of 10 key presses to type home.
Jeremy fails to understand things that are happening at the same time, ex machina.
Well, you know what? Maybe don't do sexy, undressy stuff in front of an open window, huh?
Victim blaming.
It was inevitable this would end up on rooftops, wasn't it? I mean, damn. How many times do we need to see this?
This is Brazil!
How is his heart beating 187 times a minute and he still hasn't turned into the Hulk yet? His body is made up of such supposedly volatile stuff that Stan Lee couldn't even enjoy his Brazilian soda without getting gamma radiation from a tiny drop of blood.
You're misrepresenting a scene again. He set an alert on the monitor that beeps before he turns into the Hulk, meaning he knows where his heart rate should be, otherwise Lou Ferrigno comes out. For a healthy man in his 30s, 187 is the normal heart rate of a person sprinting.
I honestly don't care if the special effects are bad. Please stop cutting away from Hulk every chance you get. This happened in the last Hulk, and all we saw was confused reaction shots, and it's annoying as hell. Look, Jaws got lucky. It's not like every movie needs to follow the Jaws model when it comes to showing the monster.
The Hulk is a monster. Even in the comics, he is a threat to everything and everyone around him. This is why this film opens with shots of him that are designed to be scary. Because he is. Showing the damage Hulk causes from the perspective of the humans is an effective way to show how badass he is. Seriously, this film is the best representation of this character to date. Even bringing up that horrible Eric Bana movie in the same breath as this film is sinful as shit.
Asshole Soldier went to the Prometheus school of running away from things and never once takes any of his side street options.
At the beginning of this clip, you can see the tanks are much closer together and then they later become more spread out. If you see that you can't take a turn on the first few tanks, you'd most likely not try taking any, especially when the Hulk threw something at you that will kill you if you make a mistake.
Movie misspells the number 0.
Or it's literally been a day?
¿Dónde estoy?
En Guatemala.
This asshole went on a rage journey 3,000 plus miles from Brazil to Guatemala? Jesus.
Which explains the previous sin. Also, Brazil to Guatemala is only about 2,000 miles through the air, which is how Hulk travels. Didn't you watch the previous Hulk movie you keep bringing up? He's not taking roads, he's jumping.
Movie acknowledges the old TV show Incredible Hulk theme song, but in the show it was David Banner and not Bruce, and the last movie had David and Bruce. So with those things and the second Stan Lee, my whole world is being blown up right now.
It's almost like the MCU knows what it's doing or something.
Banner's work was very early phase.
He thought he was working on radiation resistance. I would never have told him what the project really was.
Excuse me? Why do you have a scientist work on the Captain America serum and tell him he's working on radiation resistance? How do you hope to get what you want if the scientist is testing for something else?
Because they're using gamma radiation to recreate the super soldier serum and the test subjects need to be able to resist the radiation to survive the serum, that totally makes sense. But being that your brain is smaller than a flea's dick, I can understand how this confounds you.
Is this even relevant anymore?
Yes, because it sets up a badass moment at the end of the film. It's called consistency, something you should be intimately familiar with given the age of this video and the fact that it's just as dumb as your newer ones.
Bruce risks a lot just to catch a glimpse of his lady. He's literally got to be like 50 yards from some kind of military secret service, right? Jesus, the power of boners.
Jeremy thinks there is secret service for family members of generals. Also, boners.
Hey, there's Lou Ferrigno playing a security guard again. This guy used to be the Hulk, but in 2 Hulk movies with different origin stories, he's Paul Blart.
This is like the 15th time you've brought up the other Hulk film. Guess how many sins we're going to give you for that? That's right.
Man, that's 2 people he's bribed with pizza. Movie suggests pizza is a better bribe than money.
I'm inclined to agree with the movie.
Also, Ed Norton is using Norton antivirus. The antivirus is strong with this one.
Hey, this product and this actor share a very common name. Better send the movie for that.
Betty Ross and her new boyfriend just happened to show up after hours to the pizza place where Bruce is.
It's not a just happened to show up situation. The earlier scene with Stan shows that he has an ongoing relationship with Betty and knows about her personal life, which implies she comes here often enough for him to know that.
I got nothing but marinara now.
Oh, I gotta have a Mr. Pink, please.
Would you settle for a Mr. Orange? Mr. Pink isn't in this movie.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't
I want you to come with me now.
Too much pressure.
must resist. Pretending I don't know Jeremy's making an orgasm joke like I did in the Half-Blood Prince video and people didn't get it.
I don't understand why we can't just go in there together and talk to him.
You don't?
Jeremy literally yells at the screen cliche.
You know, how many times does this guy have to get shot before you just say, F it, and stop wasting the ammo?
It obviously annoys the Hulk as you see him reacting to it, and he even picks up shields to block the bullets.
Hulk chases after Blonsky instead of just running away, which he obviously can do in a blink after running that 3,000-mile craziness at the beginning of the movie.
Jeremy thinks Hulk runs away from the smoke when Betty Ross is in distress.
No need to take you to the hospital. We'll see what nature can do for your smoke inhalation and unconsciousness.
Jeremy thinks Hulk would take a smoked and distressed Betty Ross to the hospital.
Hulk throws a boulder at God.
Thor. You mean Thor.
Hulk freaks out over a thunderstorm because that's never happened before when he's been Hulk, apparently.
He's a relatively mindless beast, like your dog or cat that gets freaked out from the loud noise. This does explain his problem with Thor in the later films, though.
This is basically the same Hulk bullshit we dealt with in the first movie, only less shots of trees and fungus. It's almost like Universal blamed all the Ang Lee shit for the failure of the last movie, and none of the other stuff we didn't like.
We get it! You know there was a Hulk movie before this one. Jesus Christ, the horse is so dead it came back to life just to beg you to stop.
I just had to get my data back.
You ate it?
This guy swallowed a flash drive, and his stomach acids didn't destroy the thing or make it inoperable.
The acid the human stomach produces is hydrochloric acid. One of the safest containers for hydrochloric acid is polyethylene, which receives a perfect score on this chart for chemical containment. Guess what kind of plastic USB drives are made out of?
Wah, wah.
Says the grown man that said Fort Johnson was named after his penis. You can't make high school jokes and then get mad at something like this.
Wait.
Come on, are we saying now that sex causes the guy to Hulk out? You're making me horny. You wouldn't like me when I'm horny.
This is one of the common misconceptions about the Hulk, that Bruce only turns into the Hulk when he gets angry. Bruce's transformations are based on his emotional state, and any powerful emotion can cause him to transform.
I can't get too excited.
Tell me in all those months in Brazil, you didn't masturbate once?
He only lived in Brazil in November.
Good to see you back on your feet, soldier.
He's sitting down.
Here, Jeremy, send yourself.
Wah, wah. Okay, so he swallowed this fucking flash drive and stomach acid did nothing and the thing still works. Fine. But this is 2008, and he's in bumfuck Smoky Mountains countryside at a rundown gas station, and he found a computer with working internet access and a fucking USB port on the keyboard?
Yes.
I'm assuming this is a secret place anyway. So why the privacy curtain? For drama, maybe?
Jeremy, this is a hospital.
Me in a metal tube deep underground with hundreds of people in the most aggressive city in the world.
Right. Let's get a cab.
You. Like you're going to encounter 1975 New York down in the subway.
2015 CinemaSins has not seen 2022 New York subways, which incidentally still resemble 1975.
The mixture could be an abomination.
You know, like what we'll call you as your proper name once you become that.
This is literally how comic book movie characters get their names. Spider-Man tried to call himself the Human Spider and Bruce Campbell was having none of it. Green Goblin got his name from Jameson. My point is, it's weird this is the first time you're sending something like this when this has been a trend in nearly every superhero film.
Movie suddenly turns into a more expensive Cloverfield.
You say that like that's a bad thing. You know what the world needs right now? A new Cloverfield movie with the guys who did the choreography for The Raid.
Yep, that actually is Omar, Michael K. Williams from The Wire, playing, I kid you not, Harlem Bystander, years after The Wire had premiered. The fuck? Yeah, but his human body crashed through the street. How did he Hulk out after he definitely died from that fall?
Because Bruce Banner is essentially immortal. As soon as his body experiences something that could be fatal to him, Hulk takes over, healing all of his wounds, and resuscitates him. Bruce has tried killing himself multiple times, and every single time, the Hulk prevents him from dying. Heck, in the movie Avengers, Bruce specifically states he tried putting a gun into his mouth, and the Hulk emerged and spat the bullet back out.
How does he even remember why he's here? Why isn't he fleeing or looking for hot chicks or something?
Big monster!
Well, this isn't exactly rotating around the Earth to turn back time, but it might as well be. Hulk stops the raging fire with his mighty wind clap.
Sinning this scene, that's worth these many sins.
Wait, did he want to turn into the Hulk right now? But why? He's in British Columbia, and the only thing he can rage against there is Wolverine.
This is how he learned how to transform into the Hulk at will and provide some modicum of control over his alter ego. Also, Wolverine is actually from Alberta, but I can see how you got them confused. They're only entirely different places. Mitochondria. Another banger vid, Birdman. Also, quick tangent. What do you think are the odds of there being a Spider-Man PS5 for the Insomniac sequel? I'm guessing you're asking me, will there be a sequel to the Spider-Man game on PS5? Yes, there will be. Well, technically there already was. You had Miles Morales, but there will be one in 2023. I'd hit. Yeah, me too. Me too, Jackson. The way B-Man gives Jeremy 100 sins hits harder than Banjo's side B in Smash. Oh god, I am now triggered, Luke. I am triggered. Love your videos. Have you ever seen Tenet? And if so, what did you think of it? Great was it, thought I.
The Fitness Gram Pacer Test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues. The 20-meter pacer test will begin in 30 seconds. Line up at the start. The running speed starts slowly but gets faster each minute after you hear this signal. A single lap should be completed each time you hear this sound. Remember to run in a straight line and run as long as possible. The second time you fail to complete a lap before the sound, your test is over. The test will begin on the word start. On your mark, get ready, start.
Please review The Meteor Man. Keep up with the awesome videos. Well, Bearamy might be doing something with Meteor Man. Haven't yet decided, but that might be a thing. Why do they call it an oven when you of in the cold food, of out hot eat the food? Huh? You would not believe your guts If a million of these nuts. If you'd like me to read one of your funky comments, use the super thanks function. It's right under the video where the heart is. You can click it and say some funny stuff, and I'll try to read it after one of these Everything Wrong with videos. Anyway, see you later, everybody. Birdman out.